I was clueless to academia. I had 2.1 GPA in high school. It wasn't because I was dumb, I just didn't care about school. And when I got to college on academic probation, which means I fail one class, I get kicked out, mother telling me she could only do 2 years worth of loans, I knew that this was the only place for me to achieve and to be more. The hustle is a dynamic process that can be applied to just about anything that you do. And since I was in academia, it was the academic hustle. And at 16, I became determined to become a role model for my little brother and put a smile on my mother's face. But I didn't know how. So this is where that second component came into place, exposure. My mother's put us in this program called the 100 Black Men of South Florida Leadership Academy.
All of our young people have potential, and Matthew was clearly one of those young people. He came back to this community, focused on a career, but a career focused on helping others. I've had Matthew give his own testimonial to young people. I've had Matthew come and talk about the importance of education and what education has done for him. Most young people don't know the ins and outs of both applying to school and what that takes, and then once I'm accepted in the school, how I pay for it. And having someone like Matthew say, wait a minute, you want to go to college? You want to continue your education? You can do it, and this is how. You can afford it, and this is how. Having Matthew put all that together, knowing that he himself has lived it and achieved it, is absolutely significant.
And I came into over $100,000 in scholarships, fellowships, and awards. It took me all over the nation, out of the country, and I had some amazing experiences that I'll never forget, ever. And I kept wondering why I didn't know about this. But I stayed on my books, and that gave me the opportunity to travel. So I went sailing in San Francisco Bay, through research programs, hanging out in Haiti on a humanitarian effort with Wyclef. I went to Paris, and this was all paid for by programs that I was in. This particular program right here was a research program that paid for me to go to Paris and Tanzania to conduct mental health research. It began as the A+ hustle, and then it evolved until I started working with my little brother. Well, kind of always been working with him. And I just drilled everything that I learned into him over the next 2 years. And by the time he graduated, he had over $250,000 in scholarships. And once I saw that, I was like, okay, this is valuable. I think people would want this. So as I started to think about it, the academic hustle just blossomed. It really took off when I was at University of California, Berkeley, and I started to conduct this research on high achieving men in their career. And I started to ask them, what did they do? Like, how did they get over 3.3 GPA? How did they become these competitive candidates for Harvard and Yale? And I took a lot of notes, and through that process, I learned. And as I started to pick and pull from all these places, that's how the academic hustle developed. I love presenting, and I love to be engaged. And that's one of the things that people always come is like, you're very engaging. I love it because I want them to learn. I want them to understand. It's because it's critical. It is critical for our development, for our children, for our families. Students don't want to take out a lot of loans, and they want to become the best person they can be. And the academic hustle fits that need. When students understand the academic hustle, they have a game plan on how to ensure they get the scholarship money they need to stay in school, and they make the most out of their time there so that they can graduate and become successful in their career. When I started getting calls from colleges who wanted me to talk to their seniors, that's when we started talking about the idea of the career hustle, because they wanted something that will attract students, mostly vocational schools that I've worked with. They wanted to attract students who wanted to develop their career, and they felt as though the academic hustle was too college focused. So the academic hustle and the career hustle is almost one and the same thing. They're just modified so that they can take full advantage of school, future career goals, and their dream job.
He was outstanding, engaging the crowd all the time, letting us know of his own experiences. I think it really showed how he was speaking from the heart when he was telling us his story, and that has a great impact on people always.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well put together. The questions that he would ask you on the slides and on the presentation were excellent questions. I liked it all overall. It was very well put together. Very well put together.
So these are the things that you want to get into, you want to know about, you want to talk to, you want to volunteer at.
So when you see academic hustle, I mean, it's putting two of the most important things for us as college students and business professionals that were in here. Academics, it's important to make sure that you're doing your work. So he wants us to know that while you're doing that, there's a certain way to hustle. Hustle is just how you get what you want. Everything he was teaching you was of value. It was his energy, it was his confidence, and it was his message and his ability to relate.
What the academic hustle did, it was they took, you have that think outside the box mentality, but took the box, rotated, flipped it around, opened it, emptied it, and then said, okay, what's left? And that's where you put the what do you want and why do you want it. You fill the box back up with that.
The academic hustle is necessary because it's an investment. You want to make the most of your investment, and you invest, and I call these the two costs. Two costs for anything that you want to do, and this is part of the system. You invest in time and money. And if you're going to invest time and money into something, all of us want to produce the greatest returns. So the academic hustle shows us how to make the most of our investment in the academic environment.